again, everybody, for joining us for this session. This is the first one after kind of the summer break. I think many of you have joined Shop Talk before. If anyone else does join, they'll automatically come into the room, so we don't have to be watching for kind of waiting rooms and things like that. Vicky and I will just do, Vicky and I tend to host the sessions, and the way Shop Talk works is it's very much an opportunity for people around your stores to get involved, hear what's going on, and hopefully, you know, we're going to provide some kind of educational information that you can take away as well. If you want to contribute anything, please do. That's always the idea, that we all kind of share information amongst each other, and that's a big part of it. So in terms of introducing myself, I'll keep it incredibly short because I talk too much and I've done this many times. So I'm Jo, and I am the founder of Amaranth, which is a health store based in the Northwest, so just outside of Manchester. And we've got online, and we've got treatment rooms as well. And then, you know, we stock kind of all the standard health store brands that I'm sure you do as well. So do you want to introduce yourself, Vicky, and then we'll talk a bit more about what we're going to discuss today?
Hello. Hi, I'm Vicky. You may know me. I am one of the directors of Bean Freaks. We're a South Wales based health food store chain. We've been in business now for 45 years. So should know one or two little things, but I'm really looking forward to tonight's event because, to be honest, it's probably one of the areas that we're not really that good at. We've done loads and loads of different events over the years and all sorts, but being able to actually think about a little bit more and getting out of the comfort zone, and now customers are prepared to come to internal events, talking about what we can do and what will work within our little stores, because we're all shapes and sizes, and you know, some people are often daunted by the fact that you've only got a little store. What can you do in that size? So really looking forward to hearing what Hardy has to say, and seeing if Jo and I can contribute anything for our little bit of knowledge, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. So that's me. Sorry, this is all kind of after this little break we've had. It's all getting back used to everything. But what we were going to ask you is, how has your summer been? What have you been up to? What has worked? I've got to be honest, from my perspective, I was expecting the worst, but was surprised that we kind of had quite a nice little bounce going on. I think lion's mane and magnesium are propping the world up at the moment. I don't know how your stores are finding that, but certainly there's a lot on TikTok and YouTube at the moment, and that drives a lot of customers into our stores. So we need to think about ways that we can bounce off the back of that, really. So yeah, how's you been, Jo?
Yeah, it was similar actually. We were talking just before kind of people started to join. I've been really pleasantly surprised with July and August. Much better than I would have expected for that time of the year. We are absolutely, lion's mane and magnesium for us as well, are definitely kind of two of the trending products. Interestingly, you mentioned about TikTok actually, because one of the things I did just before summer is I had a work experience girl from the local high school, and one of the things I asked her to do was literally just look on TikTok, look at which of our products are kind of trending, because I'm really happy to do Instagram and Facebook, but like I'm just not quite so sure about TikTok because I don't use it as a user, and I probably should do. I wouldn't really know how to look at what's trending. And then I actually got my my son's girlfriend to, while she was at home from uni over the summer, to look at she came into the shop and kind of picked up a few products, and I gave her a little bit of sort of free reign with TikTok, whereas I am a bit possessive over my Facebook and Instagram. And I just was like, do you know what, just go and do something. And she said apparently running is big, so she's done these pictures where you have to run, like you run with your arm out somehow, and it's really odd because you look like you've got the longest arm, but apparently that's how they do it on TikTok.
Okay.
so I didn't volunteer myself to do it, but she did it and like did like bits around the products that she was taking. And I think having somebody to keep their eye on the trends in that way, because we've probably only identified it before when people start talking about things. So rosemary hair oil is another one. I don't know if you've seen if that one keeps coming up. And apparently Rescue Remedy is trending currently. Yeah, so that, I mean, that's just from her kind of looking at it. But that's been good. So yeah, anybody else, any thoughts on what's happening in stores? Anything to share? Well, just us.
All a bit shaky.
Yeah, that's okay. So I was going to say, but yeah, like you, really excited to be joined by Holly tonight as well. We've been starting to pick up our events program a little bit. So I'll be really interested to hear from Holly. So Holly is from Viridian and also involved in Sheath Street Health Store. So we've been starting to work with other people again. I was saying before we started the cameras that before lockdown we used to do quite a lot of events, and then there was various times, maybe a year ago, where we tried to do something, but I just didn't get the interest from people coming along. People weren't really ready to come back to in-store events somehow. I think it was more, it wasn't that there was a COVID fear, it was more that just that pattern of going out to do things had changed. So they were still in the kind of like an early drink and box set mentality. And people hadn't gone back to work. Like there's still more returning to work than there was last year. So
absolutely. November, I think, was the watershed moment for us. We noticed last year when they actually thought, oh, there's a whole world out there. So yeah, it's now this year coming now is going to be the big one. It's when we really need to get our act together, really. So yeah,
no, it is back into going out. I mean, interestingly, this is a bit of a side point, but I went to a networking thing this morning, and it was a lady there who does like personal styling, and she looks at all the trends in the high street, and she was saying like all the high street now is all going out clothes. And it's like that whole movement away from your leisure wear, and all they could sell for ages was leisure wear. Now it is literally out, which just shows that hopefully for us, return to footfall, but actually let's look at, if people are happy to come out, let's see what we can do with events. I'll just mention before we hand over to Holly, I mean, we did one in our store. Well, we did it across the road from our store last week, which was Pauline Cox, who's written the book Hungry Woman, and it was all about reset your hormones, and that was supported by Terra Nova, and they'd sort of put that contact together for us, and that ended up being a really, really good event. I'm interested to hear from Holly as to the events, because the one thing I would say leading up to it was that whole kind of thing about, are we going to sell enough tickets, and can we get everybody there? And there's that, you go through phases of thinking, why on earth am I doing this? This is ridiculous. Why am I doing this? And then actually after it, you go, that was great. So I think
that's one of the biggest blocks, isn't it? Because you kind of think, I'm going to have to charge for tickets, really. And then you think, should I charge for tickets? And then it's like, what if they don't turn up? And it's like, which is why sometimes I try to then end up going back into the comfort zone. Let's just do an in-store. Let's do a small little event. Then it's kind of under our own control and it's not frightening. But, I really, like I said, this year coming, we've got to take a few more leaps, really, of faith.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think the value is there. I mean, just from what we did is we did a £10 for this particular one, but we were using a venue across the road. We did a £10 booking fee, and that was redeemable afterwards, and that usually works.
How did you redeem that? Did you give that off the cost of the, so if they bought,
it was off the cost
back,
we just took £10 out of the cost of the book, or no, it was just off the book actually, and then we sold supplements because things had been talked about And then
well, that's fair enough. I mean, you can play with that, isn't it? You know, but no, that's a good one.
So, shall we hand over?
I think we should
from
have
us.
the expert.
Yes, let's hear about how we do events and how we profit from events, because that is probably the most important bit. So if we could hand over to you, Holly, and I will mute myself. I'm sure, are you happy if any questions and things as we go along, or do you want to?
Goodness, yeah, please come on, ask me questions. I'd like to be asked them all the way through, so don't worry about interrupting me. I can talk till the cows come home, so please ask away. But yeah, so as Joe and Vicky said, so thank you very much for having me. I'm so excited. This is great to be here. But yeah, so I'm Holly Steenson. I work at Viridian Nutrition as a next generation co-owner. Sounds very exciting. As many of you might know, Cheryl Allen. So I'm currently learning the reins off her, my mum. Very exciting. Become the next managing director at Viridian. But I've also obviously worked at Sheep Street Health Store previously. I work alongside them currently, and we do a lot of events. And events is my bag, is my baby. So that's kind of where my background lies. So I did an events management degree up in Leeds and got a first class honours degree. I always say first class honours because I'm incredibly proud of that. And then I worked in the events industry for around 4 years before coming into the family business. So I have got some experience in events. That's kind of why I'm here. I'm not just talking to you from a Viridian point of view. You know, events is a passion of mine. So that's really kind of where this all comes from. So really, I'm going to talk about this all in the context of Sheep Street Health Store. Obviously, Viridian has run events at Sheep Street Health Store, as it has other stores and things to support events going on there. So you see a bit of Viridian there, but primarily it's about us at Sheep Street Health Store. So who is Sheep Street Health Store? We are based in Daventry, in sunny Daventry, I should always say. Actually, it is quite sunny here again now today. But Daventry is in Northamptonshire, which is based in the Midlands between Birmingham and Milton Keynes. So we haven't got any beautiful castles. I think the closest thing we have to us is Derft, which is the Daventry International Rail Freight Terminal, where trains come in and get massive things to go up and down the country. So fantastic for logistics, not so fantastic for maybe tourism. So I think we've got a very historic market town right here. So we've got 16th century buildings, and that is where Sheep Street Health Store is based, on one of the oldest streets. And this is our store here. So we have 18,000 is really impressive, 1,800 square feet with a new vegan cafe and 2 entrances, the one here at the front and the one at the back. So we've got quite a large shop with a little area upstairs that we currently do yoga and different studio things. But what we have made is we've got lots of movable furniture. So what we made sure that's what we've gone, and we've just bought in new gondolas. Everything is on wheels. Anything that we can humanly possibly put on wheels, we've put it on there so that we can move things out of the way in order to clear areas to be able to do these events down the line. So let's talk about some of the events that we've done. So here is just a few examples of ones that we've done. Things such as foraging, where we found a local forager that would pick up a load of people, meet at the health food store, walk around the local area foraging for different foods, and come back to the health food store and cook them then and there. Staying on that sort of cooking basis, we've obviously had Dale come and do a cooking demonstration. And there we had around 60 people come and sit and listen to his cooking demonstration. Lots of tasters, lots of samples, those interactive elements that people love. We've done smaller things. We've actually just done tea sampling. We've made up our own food samples for people to try. About woods to us, what the health food actually does. Obviously, we were telling the bear, and he gave a talk and a bit of reading in his book, and that was a fantastic event too. And then we've also done things that, as you can see along the bottom, what some of the busier events that we've had as well is a fashion show with 100 ladies that came along and came to a fashion show at our store. So whilst we showed off some of the clothing that we were doing, such as booty and some of the organic bamboo clothing, the main sort of clothing that was another store based in Daventry called Daisy Bees, who we know quite well because she happens to be based on our street. She said, I'm really looking for a venue in Daventry to do a fashion show, because I've done one before in villages and further afield. And we said, why not our store? We'll do it for free, you know, no charge for the venue. We got 100 ladies to come in. Most of those have never been into the health food store at all. So we're getting all this fantastic feedback about oh God, it's absolutely massive in here. I didn't realise you did this, did that. So these are the people that are coming back then to us as well. Something very different again. We hosted a comedy night. We decided that we've got the perfect venue to host comedy. So we got in local people that wanted to put on a comedy festival, and they came along and did that for us as well. And as you can see, that's them all sat down here in this bottom corner. So we put our stage halfway up, and they were then looking, obviously, when we were doing the bar for the evening. So that was our sort of upsell, was actually hosting it with our organic wines, organic champagne, gins, cocktails, and different things. And that's what we ran. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got the motorbike festival. So this kind of just explains how we get involved with some of the local events, such as stalls and sampling. So typically we don't actually have a stall. We don't pay for a market stall or anything like that for those events. We stand outside a shop and sample different things that we're able to do. And sometimes if we've got our sum up, which is like that, the payment system that you can take outside, we'll stand outside and actually just sell some of the products there as well. And that's fantastic for us because we know that we've got an increased footfall for that day, and we're actually able to utilize that, because we do typically see for those sort of festivals, they maybe don't come into the store because they're busy looking at what's around the town, but we can get them to come into the store by doing these different samples. And everybody loves buying the sort of lentil crisps, the different things, or we're able to just let people know about the full service that we can offer then and there. Perfect. Next, we've got some of the local campaigns and different things that we've done. So, oh, sorry, was there somebody saying something there? Oh, no, I think, sorry, I better just keep getting an echo. There we go, that was just me. So we actually worked with a local man who ran a Facebook page with over 12,000 followers. And for us in our local area, that's quite a large amount. And so he was talking about he wanted to have a local legends wall, which is photographs and a little bit of a bio of people who've done fantastic things local to Daventry. And we thought, well, he was really determined to do it, street signs and things, but getting the town council and different things to do this was quite difficult for him. So we said, well, how about we have a wall here right next to our cafe at the back? How about we put up our local legend walls here? And so he was like, lovely idea. We got some photos printed, some nice frames, put them up on our wall, and we got some amazing coverage from the local press, also on his 12,000 followers. Obviously, he repeats and lets people know what's going on with the health food store. And then we actually had loads of people whose friends, family with local legends, or just wanted to come and see that, are all coming into our store to come and see these things. As you can see in the bottom left, we also got some local coverage for our fashion show. And then we also have run some meditation classes. One of the things we did get involved with as well was a local event called Chalk It Up, very niche for our area, where they got local artists to come and chalk on the floor outside of shops. And we said, this is fantastic. We had somebody in our team that was very artistic. And so she said, I'm going to do an art piece outside the shop that's all to do with the environment. And so that's obviously increasing the footfall for those 2 weeks that it didn't rain, which was fantastic. So we're very lucky it lasted 2 weeks. But it also got us the publicity around getting involved with local artists, being able to promote their work. And also it really gives a buzz to the town for that sort of footfall and that feel of the excitement. One other thing we do locally, which I'm very proud this year, I actually participated in the race and not just observed and watched, is the Viridian Daventry Triathlon. So that is something that is sponsored by Viridian, but we at Sheaf Street Health Store also promote with goodie bags. We get the sponsorship, and actually all we have to do for the sponsorship of that is actually give the goodie bags. That's all they wanted, was the goodie bags and a chocolate bar, and I think it was a packet of crisps and a banana I think they've asked for this year, which is a bit exciting. But a lot of our suppliers are able to give us those for free because we're saying that it's going on to this event. So really a lot of these have very minimal cost for us. And the last one was a Read Yourself Healthy campaign, which is where we said we got a load of magazines. They could be older ones, they could be ones that we managed to get from suppliers, all usually around health, and also some books. And we say if you hit this minimum spend of £10, you get a free magazine. If you hit 25, you get a free book, or a discounted price of a book, depending. So that's always that upsell and that pickled onion, as I like to say, which I'll mention again later. But yeah, it's really getting people to think around the education side of health food stores as well. We're not just here for your foods, for your supplements. We're also here for education and the sort of 360 look at your health. So those are some of the things that we as Sheaf Street Health Store either participated in or run. And so I thought it'd be quite interesting to show you a few statistics on a couple of these. So what we looked at here was our footfall based on the 5 days prior to the event and the 5 days after the event. And then we looked at that as in if it was a percentage increase or decrease or whatever it could be. And we're not hugely surprised, but we're very grateful and very excited to see that obviously there was an increase in footfall for all of these events. So things like the Easter market, Chalk It Up, the Christmas market and the town treasure hunt were all ones that weren't organised by us. They were organised by other people, but we have participated in, and we can see there is increased footfall in those ones. But things like the local author, the fashion show, the local legends wall, which was something that, like I say, was printing out some photographs and putting into frames and obviously then publicising it ourselves. But we can see an increase there, and the cookery demo. So these are all the increased footfalls that we've been able to pull off our till system, which is just great to be able to see that it's not just on the day of the event, we're able to see that in continuation.
Holly, sorry to interrupt. I think it's good to mention that actually, because we find here some of the local shops can be a bit resistant to some of the events, which may sound really daft, but say there's like a Christmas market, they'll all say, well, it doesn't help us, nobody comes in the shops. But certainly something that I always tend to observe is that, you know, whilst that day, if you do a Christmas market on a Saturday, that day might not be any better than any other days. Sometimes we see a bit of a dip in footfall coming into the shop, but absolutely in terms of the impact afterwards is kind of where you see it. People hear about you, they know what you're doing, and we try and kind of say that to some of the other shops, because there can be a bit of village moaning.
we you know, and we're not, you know, different from that in Daventry. I think it's also a challenge with things like Christmas market, foods markets. If you're a cafe or your primary thing is food, basically something is coming into the town, taking over your business for the day, and then disappearing the next day with all the profits. That's what it feels like. And
Yeah,
you know, you feel bitten by that, because whoever it is, the council typically, or whoever it is organising it, hasn't thought about your business, where you're paying your rates and everything else, and how to support you. But what we find, if you go out there with a leaflet, a sample, something like that, you're the people that are going to be there day in, day out for your local community. So really being able to support them and letting them know that is what you offer. Is what we always say, that bare minimum we're out there with, you know, little tea samples or something. If we were able to have more, or, you know, pot up a chocolate bar or something like that. And we do find, especially for the foodie markets, people are loving those free samples. They can't help it, but if they go, oh, that's a lovely crisp, they'll want to buy it then and there. But we find for a lot of things, they become addicted to them. We want to come back. They're going, oh, these were nice. And then, oh, I didn't realise how big your store was. And trying to explain to them that, once again, we offer that 360. We're not just a bag of crisps or a chocolate bar or whatever it is you're sampled. Come inside and see everything that we have to offer.
And I think as well, anything you can sort of get in their hands that they can kind of take home, so you've got your name on it. And I know, like, leaflets are a tricky one, because sometimes you feel like you print all these things and actually you don't want to create loads of waste. But if there's something that's useful, that's got some information on, and then it's got your name on it, those things just kind of stick around a bit, and it's that recognition after the event.
Completely. I think it's having a key takeaway on that. So if it is, you say, come back in and get a free cup of tea, coffee. If you're not able to offer that in store, that's great. Come in for a free health consultation. You can always offer that, even if it's just that talk over the counter, that one-to-one. You know, we're able to give that, or even you know, come in for a chat with a friendly face. It's those sort of things. You don't know what's going to appeal to what audience. But we've done before, come in and get a free magazine, because we know from suppliers we can get quite a few of those sort of materials, even if they're older ones. Some people just like to have that thing that they can come back in for. And it doesn't mean money off.
And the Viridian leaflets are really handy as well. I know you're not plugging Viridian, but they're useful if you want to do, like, come in and an IBS day or something. Also on that same subject, we've done an Easter treasure hunt organised with our arcade, and that was great, because some of the other stores didn't quite get it, but when the kids are coming to get the stamps, their parents are coming too, and they may not be people that would ever go in your shop. So it's all win-win as far as I see, you know. Even if they don't buy that day, they've told them, oh, we went into that store, oh, that was a bit different. And having selected products that are near the counter, or a pretty window display that's maybe Easter bound or something that's going to catch them. It's like I have the particularly through the winter, the Dutch apple cake in the window, because it's amazing with the tourists that come by and say, oh, I like that, or that looks good. And it's an extra £4. Like you said, you pickle onion, you know, that's £4 I wouldn't have gone if it hadn't been in the window. So, you know, so all of these things definitely help.
Yeah, we find as well for the treasure hunt, we try and host them ourselves at Sheep House Store, so we're the ones that get the other stores involved. The reason for that, we can say, right, you know, when you've got to hand your sheep back in or you collect your prize from, it's from the health food store. We're not telling them to go, right, just pop in and do that. It's us that gets to then to get the PR photo. We get to be the ones that actually hand over the hamper. It's all that sort of joy. And we then see every single person that's done the trail has to come and give it back into us. So we see everything. It's an opportunity to have a conversation with them. And like you say, sometimes it's the kids that come in and do that. But sometimes we find that the kids come in and go, didn't realize it's so big. So you've got some fluffy toys sometimes that you might be selling, or a book to do with the environment and different things. But also it's the, oh, we've got to nip in this one to hand it in. Can you, a lot of kids don't want to do it on their own. They need their adult to come and help them hand it in. So we do think it works quite well for us being the ones to host it.
I think as well, I mean, don't forget the impact of kind of, you know, the kids as being part of the community, because we've got kids now who came to us when they were like little, and then they come in now when it's their mum's birthday, or what, you know, they're kind of 10 years older or whatever, they're coming in to buy their mum's birthday presents and things like that. So even there's a bit of time involved, but they do remember you, and they'll even say something like, oh, I remember we used to come in and do that. And so it's just engaging with them, whatever they're in.
And this generation now, I mean, I don't know if this is the same with other stores, but we're really seeing a growth market with 16 to 22-year-olds, really, because, you know, it's that ripple effect really from kind of environmental and veganism. And then, like I said, what we were talking about earlier with TikTok, having that impact now with people newly discovering health food industry in shops and what is there, you know, and certainly with refills and things, you know, people don't, that age group is massively into the environment. So yeah, it certainly needs nourishing, isn't it?
They are the next generation of independent shoppers. It's, you know, it's fantastic to see.
Come my way.
Actually, this leads perfectly into the sort of main sort of case study and area that I wanted to talk to you about, which is an event that is being sort of hosted by Viridian and supported by Viridian, but one that we've just held at Sheep House Store, which is the Kids Kitchen Takeover with Oliver McCabe from Ireland.
Oh, wow.
So for those of you who don't know, Oliver is a chef, bit of a celebrity chef. He has written a number of cookbooks, but he's just released his new cookbook called The Kids Kitchen Takeover, which, as you might be able to guess from the title, is all about getting kids cooking, getting kids interested in nutrition and health and healthy eating from a young age. So he came into Sheep Street House Store, did a bit of filming with us and a bit of support there, but then also hosted an event with a number of children and parents to really get them involved in cooking and get them to sort of know. I think the one bit that I love the book, obviously, but the main bit that I love about the back of the book, which you don't get in most cookbooks, it has all the nutrient values for every single recipe. So you can really tell what you're actually eating, the micros, the macros, which I think is absolutely fantastic, especially to get kids at a younger age to understand that. Because I think there's people my age and all of that are still trying to figure out how really to understand that fully and get the right sort of ratios into your diet. So these are some of the sort of snapshots of what happened in the pre to the event, and then we have got some of the statistics about actually what happened on the day. So it happened on Friday, the 18th of August, and not that long ago, just under a month ago. And so Oliver came over, and we actually charged for the tickets £5 per family. So no matter how many kids you've got, how many adults, £5 per family. We wanted to make sure in the cost of living crisis it wasn't too expensive, but we wanted to put £5 down there, so it's that guarantee of bums on seats. They feel like they've invested in the event, they've invested in coming, but it was redeemable on the day against the book or any other purchases in store. So we had 25 children come, which you would expect the health food store to be absolutely manically noisy and just, you know, people running about. it was not the case at all. I was shocked, you know, with somebody who has nephews who absolutely run a riot. I was shocked how you could hear a pin drop, how they really wanted to pay attention and listen to Oliver, and also were raising their hands to quickly run up and be the volunteer for that recipe. It was so lovely to see. And so from there, we had 20 adults, because we said you have to bring an adult with you to obviously chaperone, but obviously really the book is being sold to the adults as well. But the feedback from the actual team at Shoe House Store was the majority of it was new customers, around 80%. So they found it through Facebook or through some other form of promotion. We also handed out leaflets to the local schools and other shops that had families coming into them. And that's how we helped promote the event. So we also did a bit of an analysis, like we've done previously with our other events, on the footfall growth. So we saw from the 5 days prior to the 5 days after, there was an increase in 10%. And our average customer spend over those 5 days also increased. But once we were there, we weren't just looking at the event itself and talking about obviously everything fabulous that Oliver was doing. We were using it as an opportunity to promote our new cafe, because previously we were a barista, and now we've just opened up to actually be able to do lunches and hot cooked meals, all freshly made there. So that was an opportunity for us to really promote that and target the family demographic for it. Where we're where we're based in Daventry, right behind us is a massive car park, and right behind that is a school, and the car park's free. So we're perfectly positioned for people after school to be able to come across. And if they don't want to eat then and there, I mean, do exactly what I do, grab it, uncooked or heated, whatever they prefer, and take that home. So they've already got a nutritious meal ready to go if it's one of those things where they just need something quick and easy to be able to take back for the family. So that was a way for us to be able to target that demographic. And also we had our regular shoppers coming in and out through the front of the shop, and they were just constantly going, what's going on? We had some people come in with their kids, just happened to be coming in for shopping. And they were like, can we join in? Can we have a little look? And we're like, of course you can. So we were able to get more and more people actually throughout the event as it was going on. And some people were asking, when's our next one? So that was really exciting for us to see. So that was the primary things that we had on the day for Oliver, sorry. And I thought it'd be quite good to talk about the socials aspect of it as well. So we were talking about social media earlier. We as Shoe House don't really utilize TikTok at the moment, but we certainly do with Instagram and Facebook. And so we posted 9 posts around our Oliver talk. So all the way from us saying, right, we'd firstly announcing that Oliver's coming, and then did you know this about Oliver's talk that's going to be happening, and lots of different ways of engaging in the posts. So across those 9 posts, we had over 10,000 people reach, over 900 engagements. Of that, 227 likes and reactions. You can see the comments and the shares there as well. And the shares being quite an important one, apparently, for the algorithm. I always say apparently, because I think it changes every 5 minutes with Facebook, knowing what they do. But that's a really good one for the algorithms as well, to increase that engagement and that reach. But there was a spike in the Facebook reach on the actual day of the event, because we posted up this nice photo that you might be able to see on the right, saying the takeover has started. So we were having quite a few comments around, oh, this looks fantastic, when's the next thing, and all these different things that people were just excited about the buzz that was happening in the town. We had an increase as well to the Facebook and Instagram profile visits, so not just looking at these posts, but looking in a bit more about what we do and who we are. And then we also had an increase in Facebook likes and Instagram followers across these posts and across this period. So that was really fantastic for us, because once again, it's helping with that longevity of customer, getting new customers in. And I engaged with quite a few people on these posts, but I would say as well, some of the posts have very little engagement. It's one of those things we're still figuring out our algorithms on what time of day to post, what days to post, what catches what audience's eyes. So we were still doing a lot of testing around that, but across the 9 posts, and these are our top 2 here. So that was the socials for us. So I suppose, is there any questions about what the event was or anything like that? And then if there aren't any, I'll go into the sort of hints and tips and what we've kind of learned from the event as well.
I suppose I think the only thing I would ask around is more that kind of selling of the tickets, and more for my my own thoughts is that I know when we do things, sometimes you put it all out there, and then literally you've sold like 3 tickets until a week before, and then everybody decides they're actually coming anyway, and they always thought they were. So, and I don't know, any tips around how you did sell the tickets? Did you sell them just in store? Did you sell them online? Or
so for this particular event, so actually as part of my thing, so part of this event, we just ticketed in store. So we didn't even give a physical ticket or anything like that back. We actually just said, right, you're all booked in. We gave them a bit of leaflet, just a reminder of the date and the time and everything like that. But we did it all in store. For other events, we've used Eventbrite.
yeah,
And the only main tip I'll give with Eventbrite, always, it says, obviously it charges you a small fee, and there's the option to either give that fee to the customer or take that fee as a hit. Always take that fee as a hit. It's you know, increase your cost of your ticket if you need to in order to absorb that. But if the customer gets to the point where it's like, oh, and there's an add-on and a service fee, we always see a drop in ticket sales. But the only great thing about Eventbrite, you can really see what channels might be working for you, because you can set up your ticket already up there, and then lots of different, I say lots, you don't have to, as many channels as you'd like. So you can use one to sell in store, one's for Facebook, one's for Instagram. Split it out as much as you like or as little as you like, but then that really can give you an understanding of, actually, wow, I only sold 2 on Facebook, none on Instagram, and it was all in store. So next time I could probably just go in store and avoid Eventbrite and the fees there. But it just really gives, if you're not too sure, it really gives you a very quick understanding. And in terms, other than that sort of service fee that they've put in, there's no other cost to it for the event sort of sizes that we would be doing. And it's quite nicely easy to brand and things like this, and it's quite a nice way to link to your Facebook. So it kind of gives you that profile for it all. So typically we would use Eventbrite, especially if we're working with other businesses, like the fashion show that we did. So we did Eventbrite ticketing, and we said to Sarah, who works at Daisy Beat, or owns Daisy Beat, I should say, because we know her quite well, any tickets that she sells, she gets the ticket price from that. Any that we sell, we get from that. And so it was easy for us to understand who's selling the tickets, where that's going from. So if you wanted to, with your teams, do incentives, you know, this is Tracy's one, this is I'm trying to think of other names, Sarah's one. So you could say, right, whoever sells the most tickets gets a bit of incentive there, just to create it a bit fun, because a lot of it is about getting buy-in from your team and getting them excited about the event. I think you see it all with products. It's the same with products. If somebody loves lion's mane, they can sell lion's mane to the cows come home, and you'll see a real increase in that.
Yeah.
It's the same with the event. If they feel passionate and excited about the event, you'll see those tickets going flying very quickly. I think thing that I've learned as well is, as we said, the uptake is slow on all events. I've spoken to my colleagues or friends that are still in the events industries, and they have it with festivals. Festivals are slightly wetting themselves at times, because they find that nobody will book. And like, you'll get 5, you know, they'll have a very small percentage of people are booking, and they're going, God, have we got to cancel? What are we going to, you know, how are we going to pay all these things? And then they see this massive spike, week, 2 weeks. For festivals, maybe a little bit longer, but for sort of these store events, we're seeing within a week, that's when people are booking.
yeah.
People, I think, since post-COVID, are still not planning that calendars that far. You have the rare few, like myself, can't deny it, my planner, that will book it months in advance. But then you'll have other people like my other half and other things that will go, oh, 2 days before, oh, this looks good, let's go along. So I think there's a lot of things about not getting disheartened by that, because it is, you know, you can be sat in the background going, oh God, we're going to have 3 people, and it's just, but we do typically see that big spike up to it, and making sure that it's that constant promotion, and the 360 promotion of the posters, flyers, Eventbrite, Facebook. And like I said, for the event, because it was to do with kids cooking, we went to the school, we went to anywhere that kids might be going. So we went to some of the kids clubs, nurseries, because for some of it is the families that want to be able to go and get those. So yeah, it's a difficult one, because if you don't see those tickets coming up, you do consider, what else do we do? But I would say, don't get disheartened. It will go well, even if it is 3 people. Think of the thing, if you came along, it was just you and 2 other people, you're getting a really in-depth event there. And it's an absolute rarity that it actually gets to that point.
Yeah, it's good to hear though that it's good to hear that almost everybody's in the same in the same position, because I think every event we've done, I've done the same thing. Literally a week before, I've just been thinking, I don't know if we can go ahead with this, we haven't got enough people. And then the day before, I'm stood here going, right, we've not got enough seats, I can't fit everybody in, and now there's too many people. I don't think I've ever had one that's been like really nice and balanced in terms of, you know, a nice number of people signed up. So as long as we're all in the same position and we don't panic, then that's good.
I think that's it. At the moment, you can't second guess events still. I think ever since post-COVID, people's habit, we've seen it from buying habits to marketing habits to different, everybody's habits have really changed. And I think it is that last minute, oh, I am definitely free, or I don't know if it's that mindset of will it get cancelled because of COVID. I mean, it's that almost that thing in the back of your mind. But yeah, unfortunately, I say unfortunately because I'm a real pre-planner, it is still that way, but it is across the whole events industry, not just within the health food stores as well. I did double check that with my friends because I kept thinking, can't just be us, please, come on now.
I mean, I suppose it's whether if it is a bigger event that you're putting more commitment into it, or you've got to pay something out to it, whether it is worth doing like the early bird ticket price or something, so that, you know, it's a cheaper price if you book up to a certain point. I suppose it depends how much investment you're putting in yourself to it.
Yeah, so we did that for the comedy night, because the people who were running it and sort of hope that we were hosting it but running it suggested that we do that. So we went with their advice. They've run multiple comedy nights across the sort of West Midlands area, and so they recommended we did that. And we did see a bit of an increase there, once again, those early adopters. But we do find there's less and less early adopters and more people that were happy to pay the larger price in the end. And like we said, we had one spare row at the back, and that was it. But the only reason why we put that row there is because we know nobody was going to sit at the front, so we ended up taking the front row out. So it's the thing with comedy, nobody wants to sit at the front. So, but we were packed to the rafters then, and everybody was, talking about the health food store and obviously buying the drinks that were on supply. So it worked quite well. It's really targeted to that audience. But so I think that's kind of my hints and tips, is really look at your target audience. So obviously for the comedy night, we promoted it in a very different way to how we would promote the kids' cookery, to also how we would promote the fact that we're doing things with the community and chalk it up and litter picking. So it's really thinking of how you're going to target that audience. Is it posters and flyers into the schooling areas, or is it really they're more of a social media based thing? It's the same understanding, your audiences, your customers. So I think it's just understanding when they're looking at events, how are they going to be buying into that? Will they want to buy a physical ticket because it feels more luxury? It does, getting an actual nice little printed ticket feels a lot more luxury than just clicking it's in my email. Or are there people who like it coming to their email because they want to be, quick, organized, you get it then there, you don't have to physically go in to sort of buy and handle with cash. You can just do it over the thing and know you're going in there on Tuesday for this event. But yeah, ticket fee, it really depends on what event you're doing, but we've charged anything from £5, which is redeemable back, up to £20. I think we've done some events where it's really niche that we've kind of helped co-host, where it's more the foraging, where they actually got to have a cooked dinner and everything at the end. I think we were looking around 35 with alcohol, with a little glass of fizz at the end. So it really does depend on the evening and obviously your costs for that event. But a lot of our events, like I say, we've managed to get to actually put on for almost next to nothing. Printing cost and obviously the time of you and your team to be able to organise it and put it on. But for those like £5 events, or if it's getting involved in the community ones, it's it's a no charge, but almost no input for yourself in terms of money. Getting the team excited about it, I think I've probably talked about that one enough, but it really is getting them just excited and really wanting to promote that event. Goodie bag or giveaway, I think that's really important as well. You can see I've got a couple of examples here. So the bottom one is obviously from Kids Kitchen Takeover. Viridian have produced some badges, wooden spoons, so things that feel like they fit in with the event, that we're able to give away at the event to every attendee. And then the one above is from what we did for the fashion show. So Sarah from Daisy Bees, the fashion brand, wanted to be able to give away little bits and bobs from her store, but she was wondering if we would do anything. So we put a couple of snacks in there and then a free cup of tea or coffee to come back, because we knew that demographic who was going to be there, which was, I have to admit, all women, sort of between the ages of 30 and sort of 30 plus really. And so we knew a cup of tea, cup of coffee, something they could come back and do together was something that would be quite important to them. So we had a large uptake on that, and having them come back to the cafe, which was lovely. And obviously having our branded bags going around the town is always fantastic. That sort of free marketing once it's out there. And PR for us has been something that we've worked quite hard on, getting involved with our local newspaper, local radio, letting them know what sort of key subject areas we can talk about. So not just talking about our event, but also we're experts in this, and this. So if you ever need anybody to talk about a story on these areas, you know that we're right here, only a phone call away, or you can, we're local to you, so you can come down and talk to us about it. So we've managed to do a few things like that. And also, if you can be a bit of a hub for other stores for that, we found out that can be quite well. So if you're able to, you work really well with the clothing shop across the road and the hairdressers down there, if they need quotes on town centres as a whole or city centres as a whole, saying, listen, we've got a bit of a group that can do that for you. We found that's worked quite well, and we've actually been asked to do that a couple of times. And then promoting what's next. So having a flyer, a poster, a QR code, allowing people to be able to book on to what is your next event or what is your next in-store. So talking about what's going to be new, even if it's a new product that's not related, or it's going to be, so we sometimes talk about our yoga sessions that are going upstairs. What is our next event that's going to be, they can come and join. So I remember at the fashion show, we were telling everybody about the comedy night. So once again, it's very similar demographics of who might come along. They've just, at the fashion show, they've just bought their going out outfit, as you would say. And so then it's come along to the comedy night and be able to, use your out outfit. There you go. So yeah, promoting what's coming up next then and there. So that will hopefully get you your early adopters for those events. And I think, Vicky, you mentioned this one earlier, space. So space in stores, we know can be difficult. Like we say, we've put lots of things for us on wheels so we can move them about. But I think, obviously, Joe, what you do is fantastic. You've connected with another space nearby and you're able to do that. I think that works really well for a lot of events. I think when you can have them in store, it's a little easier. Sometimes you can sell straight away then and there. It's your space. It's your space that you host. But depending on the event, other spaces that you can use locally are fantastic. And if you do a cross collaboration with them, a lot of the time they will do it for no fee. Or if you know them quite well, there's a lot of things you can do there. So obviously we've hosted fashion shows for people and comedy nights now. So we know how that cross collaboration can work really well.
Oh, that's good. No, we've got an arcade just outside, and the Queer Emporium at the end quite often sets up does comedy nights in there. So as you're talking, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to say, can we do a bit of cross hosting here? So yeah, no, it's making use of what you've got available around you, isn't it? And thinking how you can apply different things. So yeah, the comedy.
Yeah, I think that's it as well. If you can't host a comedy night because you've not got the space, that's absolutely fine. You could. We've seen in our town. We've done. I'm trying to think what you call it. It's a little bit like how Live at Leeds do it, or there's a few other festivals where you host almost like a busker or somebody who just plays acoustic.
Yeah.
And each shop does something like that. So you go around and it's a whole musical evening. But all you need is the space for one person stood up with a guitar or singing, and a few people are able to just stand around. So, but that gives people a chance again to see you as a shop and what you do, and the sort of feel that you're able to give with those sort of events. Also for us, treasure hunts. Once again, they do fantastically well for us. Really, very little cost for us to set up and actually get out there. It's just printing. And usually if you find a local printers, so we've luckily got, obviously we use Viridian for some of it, but we've also got Rapido, which is a small, I think they've only got 2 branches, but they're local on our high street, just the normal printers that do merch and everything like that as well. But they're very keen on getting involved in the local community. So they always say, different posters and things like that we can print for you free of charge, as long as it's a community event that's boosting footfall in the high street or around the town. So they're fantastic, and it's finding companies like that are happy to do. Obviously you can't go to them every month. I think they'd get a bit annoyed with us, but they're very happy to do the one-off ad hoc things for us, and treasure hunts really is 25 things stuck in 25 different store windows. I always say 25 because it feels like a good number. 25 different store windows and some activity sheets. And we always found that those have gone fantastically well. But I've also got on my next slide some things that maybe I've learned from and haven't done so well. So things I wish I'd known. So think about the early arrivals and late bookers. I think we've discussed this, not getting disheartened by people booking on late into the event and not being unsure of actually how many people you're going to have there. But also on the flip side of that, early arrivals, you might be setting up your event 6 o'clock. People show up 5:30. I was never prepared for that.
Honestly, that's like my real pet hate, like early. We had it last week, but I'd actually sent on the confirmation email this time. I said, you know, the event starts at 10:30. We won't be letting anybody in before 10:20. Because there's always a lot to do, and even if you think there isn't, like, you know, you're still flapping around
Gets away with you, yeah.
And they want to ask you the most in-depth question about their health as well while you're trying to set up. So
absolutely.
Yes, always be prepared. What we found, if we can, we have an extra person that is the greeter. We have a person dedicated to greeting that, and we've had it before, that we have a local carpet, this is us combined working with other there's a local carpet company who hires out for free a red carpet.
Oh, so wow.
And it's just basically a strip of red carpet, but they're so lovely. You can go pick it up, and as long as you return it back hoovered, they're just we just found this company magically. And so he goes, oh yeah, you use the carpet, and you put them on your social media so they get a bit of a shout out too, as another local company supporting another one. But we put that out for our events, not all of them, but for some. And so people don't mind standing outside and waiting to go into the event because they're stood on the red carpet. And so we've got our greeters there going, oh yes, the event will be starting in 10 minutes. And even it's when it's one of our nutritionist talks and things, people are there going, they're all excited. Obviously we use it for the fashion show and the comedy night and things, but even what was classed as maybe a smaller event for 20-30 people, it gives it that luxury thing and helps them feel comfortable waiting outside for the 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it could be, for you to finish the setup. Because otherwise, like you say, you're there trying to put chairs out or clear up things. You feel awkward because we are very professional and we want to make sure that everything's done and ready to go. And so I was shocked the first time somebody showed up. They were half an hour early. I haven't even got the bar set up for whatever it could be. And there was another time, I swear I haven't even put a single chair down yet. And I was there going, do you want to sit? And so they just sat and watched me put out the rest of the chairs. I was like, I wasn't expecting this. So I think both by the early arrivals and the late bookers, don't be surprised or disheartened by any of it. I think, but yeah, the more you can prepare for those, the better. And it's always things that I wish I knew. Pickled onions, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but having the things there ready to upsell. So if you're doing teas and coffees, having some biscuits ready to sell, simple things like that. But for us, obviously with the Oliver McCabe, we had the books there, but also the Viridian supplements that have been mentioned through the book. But we were also doing little other things. We had our kids section, we made sure it was primed and put in the right places, little snack bars for kids, healthy things that they could sort of talk about to their parents. Technology always messes up, always goes wrong. It's never the easiest thing. So we've mentioned before, our sum up payment system, always something went wrong, or we hadn't prepared it enough in time. Checking your till system, if you're taking it off for the day and going back on again for the event, that all of that's done. It's simple things, but it's the thing that if you haven't got it done in your 5 minutes of the event, you start to feel a bit more flustered, a bit more panicked. So technology is always test and test again. Let me have a look at my list of everything else. And main one, have fun. You might be able to see our lovely lady Sen here, who works with us at Viridian. I think that was the main thing that she took away from the Oliver McCabe event, which was one of her first events with us here. She just realised how absolutely fun it was, because she was helping organise it all up until the lead up to the event. And she went, this has been really fun. And I was like, oh, you sound so surprised. And she was like, I just really enjoyed every minute of it. And all the kids were having fun. I think she was worried that, and so by just, thinking about the early arrivals, the late bookers, the pickled onions and the technology, she forgot to, and then she suddenly settled into it all and was just having a fantastic time. And I think that's what we all need to know. They are meant to be fun. They are fun for the people coming and enjoying them. They've got to be fun for us too. Otherwise, what's the point sometimes? You want to make sure it's really fun for us. I'm just going to finish off very quickly, if that's okay, with just a couple of nice quotes, really, that we had from the event. So we had a parent and come along and basically said that their kid rushed home and said, I want to cook more of this. I found it absolutely delicious. I really enjoyed it. So they had to go and nip back out to the shops again that evening, buy some of the ingredients and go home and make it that night and enjoy it for dinner, which was absolutely lovely to hear. And I think another one which was just great was one of our team was handing out some of the samples, and the mum was like, don't worry, don't bother, my kid's never going to eat that, they don't eat vegetables at home, they're not going to touch it. And the kid was like, oh, I want to try it, and grabbed it off the thing before we can even do anything, absolutely ate it all, and when even came up and went up to the person working at the shop and went, I'd like some more of that, please. So the mum was just jaw on the floor almost, going, never eaten vegetables like that at home. So of course, then they grabbed the recipe for that one especially and was ready for using that at home. A nice thing that we weren't expecting as well on the evening, we actually had somebody who owns a vegan cafe in the next town over from us. Sorry, not a vegan restaurant, so more evenings and more dining. And they said, oh God, I absolutely love what you do here. It's absolutely fantastic. And there's all these ingredients and different things. It was getting their thoughts going. But they took a load of leaflets for our Chief household that we had there and have been handing them out at their restaurant. So we've had people coming over from their restaurant going, oh, they told me that because I'm gluten-free, I can come and get my stuff from here, and because I'm dairy-free and different things. So that's been a really nice, unexpected cross-collaboration that we've had. And I think since then, a couple of our team have actually been over there for dinner. So that's really nice. So it's a bit of a cross there, but we weren't expecting that at all in the evening from what we thought was going to be quite a family-friendly event. But yeah, I think, let me have a look. Yeah, I think that's sort of it from me. But what we do have, which Health Stores UK have, is we've got a booklet that we've created called Rebuilding Confidence and Driving Footfall, which has a lot of ideas in there from events, marketing, PR. It covers quite a whole host of ideas. And my colleague Grace, who I'll have to give all the credit to for this, created our 10 steps to creating a treasure hunt guide. So I've mentioned treasure hunts a couple of times, and she's come up with 10 steps of actually how to be able to do those, get the most out of them. And obviously, I think if you emailed across to Grace and said, oh, could you send me over a template of what one would look like, some designs, I'm sure she'd happily send those across so you'd be able to use those as well. But yeah, that's, I think, everything from me. So I just want to say a huge thank you, and a huge thank you, of course, to Health Stores UK for allowing me to come and talk this evening.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. It's so interesting, and it's just great to hear kind of all the things you're up to, and it gives a lot of inspiration, I guess. And I think I guess certainly a takeaway from it for me is like, you can look at all this and think, oh my goodness, that sounds like a lot of work. But I think it's also looking at those things like the treasure hunts and things like that actually, yes, you can do big events, but also you can do those little things as well, and they'll drive footfall. And it's, looking at your team, looking at who can help you with that as well. Things like the treasure hunts. We've had some in our village, and actually they were coordinated by somebody who was doing, one particular one was coordinated by somebody who was doing some work experience with one of the other stores. So it doesn't have to kind of be all on your plate and all of your shoulders kind of things. It's looking at even at, you've got a Saturday girl in, he can go and have a chat with the other stores and things like that, and making those connections. But definitely collaborations, I think, as well. That's really key to a lot of that, is trying to get those connections with the other, because everybody in the town or the village has got the same goal, which is to increase footfall and sort of working together. Interestingly, some of the I guess some of the people we work with most, in theory, you could say, well, maybe would be competition. So we do obviously we sell a lot of natural beauty products, but we collaborate with the local beauty spas, or whatever you might call them.
Yeah.
And also the local osteopath. Now, the osteopath also offers reflexology and massage, as do we, but like, we've been over there and done talks for their clients, and we'll refer people to them and they will refer people to us. So I think you don't have to kind of, and similar to maybe you're saying with the vegan cafe, vegan restaurant, everybody's got different customers for different things. And actually, if we work together, the offering does turn out to be better.
Talking of events, we have the Health Stores NHT Summit coming up, and it's the 8th of October 2023 in the Mercure Grand Hotel in Bristol. Woo! So woohoo! So make sure you all kind of come along and say hello. I know I'm going to be at that function. I don't know if I'm going to be on stand or what we'll do, but we haven't got that far yet. But it should be really good. We need to pull together for all of these events now, and again, we've got some great support suppliers supporting it as well. So that should be really good. So look forward to seeing you then. And I know Avra will be promoting and emailing everyone and just reminding people that this is going on as well. But that was amazing, Holly. Thank you so much for giving us that little insight. It does. Every time anyone talks about these things, it just energizes you a little bit more, because there's always things that you think, I should be doing this, I could be doing that, and you put off. And sometimes it's like, come on, we got to get our act together, you know.
And they're fun. So yeah, why not do them?
Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you, Danny.
Any questions from anybody else before we finish? I'm aware that we're kind of 7 o'clock now and everybody's hungry. Jim, hi Jim.
Hi there. Just a quick one with my Health Stores UK marketing PR hat on. I'm just going to say partly to Holly. Well, thank you very much for fantastic presentations. Just so much packed into that. But the point I was just going to make was that we'll be making the video recording of this available, but also writing it up for Health Stores UK website, and I'll probably press release on this because there's so much to take out of it. So just to let you know that we're a sort of small but perfectly formed audience tonight, but we will extract some more value out of it, is what I was going to really say. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else, or should we all finish up for our tea? I've had you were mentioning lentil chips before, and I've literally got them staring at me, and I'm like, right, I'm hungry now. I need to go. I need to go and eat them.
I have a lunch that I took away from the health food store. So
yeah, and also that's what we need in our village. That is what we're seriously lacking here. Somewhere just to come and get some like healthy food just to take home.
It's easy for the days like this where you don't want to cook.
It's perfect, absolutely perfect. So, well, thank you everybody for joining. Obviously, any questions you can send them through to us anyway. We'll be putting those materials on the Health Store UK, and you know where we are. We don't go far, so we're usually in our stores. Any questions or whatever. All right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks again, Holly. That was
Thanks,
amazing.
Holly.
Oh no, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.